kind of challenge like that you're still holding from the intention that you originally came in with. Anything like that, if you can boil that down to a core word or two, like for example, if I think about if I lost my job, that's my objective problem, is that I lost my job. Somebody might be happy that they lost their job. Someone else might be sad that they lost their job, right? That's the subjective experience, right? So if I'm using this example, I lost my job, my subjective experience is I feel really anxious for what I'm going to do now for money. So in the process, I'm going to say thank you for that, the scenario around it, but what I'm focused on is that anxiety. Does that make sense? So we're narrowing it in on, there's the story around it, but then there's that key subjective experience that we want to hone in on. Yep. You guys feel me? So we're going to go around, and I want each of you to just kind of take this moment to think about, what are the challenges that you're experiencing internally right now? And how could you put a word or two to that emotion or feeling that's arising the strongest in you out of that? So let's start this way. Chris?
I definitely have done work and figured out my fear has always been abandonment. So that level of, it's the deepest seated thing in me, that every problem, every addiction stems from my dad leaving, So I think that this has been really good to have that brotherly, fatherly energy be nurtured, and I'd say my battle is with Mother Nature herself and trying to acclimate as best as possible.
So in that abandonment, can you pinpoint the strongest emotion?
Oh yeah.
What is it?
I remember, because my dad had left when I was pretty young, and I had my stepdad who was a disciplinarian, kind of an asshole when I was a kid. But my mom would go do art shows, so that feeling of her driving away while I'm standing there.
So go to that moment right now. Can you, in one or two words, can you tell me what that emotion or feeling is?
Fear of not ever feeling love or loved again.
And how does that fear affect you in your life?
Fucks with me.
How do you want to feel instead?
Abundantly secure.
Okay, so keep that in your mind, okay? Yeah. The fear is what we're working with for you, and your goal is to feel abundant and secure.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeremy, whatever you want to share, brother, whatever's arising for you.
Yeah, this is actually timely. What's up for me in my relationship is, and I just started naming this yesterday. It's like a resentment around being more intimate in like a spiritual sense. The resentment is like, why should I give that much more because I didn't get that from people growing up or even in my 20s. So it feels like resentment is like what it is,
And then how is that resentment affecting you?
I don't have a joyful passion, like a passionate inspiration to give more deeply. So it's like I've bottled up my joy and my passion around that. So it feels more like work to go extra and give in like a really like intimate way with my wife than like the joy and excitement to do it.
Got it. Yeah. How do you want to feel? How do you want that all to feel?
I want to feel joyful. Like I want to feel excited to go deeper in that way and connect in that way.
Got it.
With her, even deeper than we do. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. So you got that resentment as your subjective problem. Uh-huh. You got that goal there.
Yeah.
Of that joy and that excitement. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. That's.
How does that fear affect you?
forces that dynamic of resentment because I have to push against it. So you let that fear fuels the resentment that you feel with your partner. And the way, a lot of us deal with our fear is to fight it. And I want to be present and allow that fear to be incorporated into me.
If you were totally present and that fear was incorporated into you, how would you feel? Imagine that's already done. How are you feeling?
Graceful.
Graceful. Okay, so you got fear is your problem and the graceful is your goal. And of course it's more than just the word, but you know what that means, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. So yeah, just keep these in mind as we go around, guys. So, Fernando.
2 words that could just kind of put everything in perspective for me right now is definitely confusion. Doubt.
Yeah.
That's where I'm feeling that going back home without having to fully go into detail.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm dealing with right now.
Got it. And how's that affecting you now?
I mean, I'm trying to not overthink it and just kind of feel that it's part of the process now. I'm trying to play it out in my head, but I think it's just part of the process. Like, I'm supposed to be feeling these in order to come up with a solution.
Is there any way, like, how would you really like to feel if you could think of that ideal way of how you really want to be feeling right now, going home? How do you want to feel?
To be honest, I would like to feel resolved, like I had a solution. Like it was just solved, but it's not that easy. But I mean, if I had to have it my way, I would have a solution that just.
And if you had the solution, imagine in your mind, step in there where, okay, you had the solution, you had the resolve. How would you be feeling?
I mean, happy, content. Like,
Got it.
I figured it out.
Okay. So that problem we're going to focus on for you now is that confusion and that doubt. And your goal is to feel happy and content.
100%.
Beautiful. Keep that in mind, okay? Michael, how you doing, brother?
Good.
Okay. What's that deep core emotion that's coming up for you now?
For me, I think it's like isolation. Isolation in like in success, isolation in like relationships. Without getting into it, like I've had a lot of personal successes, but the narrative was always like, oh, Michael will figure it out. He has good head on his shoulders, but in reality, like I do need support. I can't fight my battles on my own, and so it's the jiu-jitsu brotherhood that brought us together, and something that I didn't, I really needed as a adult, and so but isolation, just like.
Thanks for bringing that up, man. We all need it now more than ever. My goal is to create, to put it simply, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, but to put it simply, I think we're all speaking it. We've been together all week. We feel each other. And my goal is to create strong men. Help create as many strong men as possible. But we're only as strong, to the degree that we are strong is the degree that we can come together and support each other. We build up our own personal strength, but then we need to
build our community.
We need to have these connections. We need to have the chain link of brothers, That's our strength, dude.
Yeah.
That's where nothing can knock you down if you have that. If you're solo, anything can knock you down.
Yeah.
Agree.
So, anyway, thank you for sharing that, Michael. In that isolation, if you really feel into that isolation, is there a main emotion or feeling that comes up for you the strongest?
Like think what's coming up to me is like just being understood. I don't know if that's necessarily an emotion, but
Is there an emotion in that needing to be understood?
there's sadness, but kind of going off of Fernando, like confusion, just because I don't know where it's coming. The isolation's coming from. Externally, I might have all
Gotcha.
these successes, but
Yeah.
internally, it's hard to
So
navigate.
be with that. We'll call it sadness and confusion for you. Yeah. And then how does that affect you in your life?
Personally, it's leading me to like a dead end. I can be chasing all these different things and have all these accolades on my wall, but it's internally it's burning me out.
Yeah.
So we're arriving to a dead end.
How would you like to feel instead?
I think I like to feel understood.
And if you were understood, how would you feel?
I feel happy. Like I feel at peace.
Yeah. Got it. So you have that sadness and confusion. That's what you're going to work with today. And that goal is feel that happiness and that peace. Okay? Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Jill? Where you at, man?
I don't know if I can articulate right now.
Keep it as simple as possible. If you could just feel in, if you could close your eyes for a moment, feel in, what's the main challenge, emotion, feeling that's coming up for you?
I can't even pinpoint it. It's so much. So,
Is there fear? Is there sadness?
oh,
Is
absolutely.
there
It's absolutely terrifying.
doubt? Let's go with that. How does that affect you? How does that terrifying feeling, that fear affect you?
It feels crippling, but at the same time, it's like, it's how it builds warriors going through it. So,
How would you like to feel?
how would I like to feel?
Yeah.
I think ultimately just, content, inner peace. And I don't want complete comfort because I always want to be working. But
Peace.
that is a kind of a peace in itself, is to always be faced with challenges, for me, perspective.
And so for you today, you'll work with, you have that fear,
Yeah.
that terrifying feeling, that fear that kind of encapsulates everything. I want you to go into that, in this process that we're going to do over this next short time. And your goal is to feel peace. Feel that contentment. Okay?
All right.
And you guys can even, in your mind, kind of rate it. How intense is this problem or this challenge on a scale from 1 to 10? So in your mind, 1 is nothing, 10 is totally debilitating. Right? So just kind of keep that noted in your mind. Everyone's got their challenge that they shared, right? That subjective problem. You've got that name, yeah? You got to
bless
bear
you.
with it.
Bless
So
you.
I'm going to have you bless you, brother. So just get in a decently comfortable position. You guys can shift how, as you need to as you go through, but you're going to have your eyes closed. This is going to be a deep meditative process.
Laying down, okay?
It's better if you can sit up, but you can adjust. If you get uncomfortable in one spot, just adjust to a different spot. You can lean on your hand, whatever. But do your best to keep your spine as straight as possible. And I'm going to be kind of supporting all you guys, holding all you guys through it, to the best of my ability. And I just need your commitment to stay with it until the end. Gio?
Yeah.
You got your commitment to stay with it till the end?
Yes.
Michael?
Yeah.
Fernando? You good? All right.
I might need that shit.
Yeah. That's a good call. There you go.
Yeah,
Smart,
get comfortable so you focus.
Yeah.
Sit next to you, Jill.
Oh, no problem.
So when you guys are ready, get everyone ready here.
You comfortable with it?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to actually go into that problem or that challenge that you named, the resentment, the fear, whatever it is for you, just focus only on yours, not anyone else's here. Focus only on yours and actually feel it as strong as you can. And if you can, remember a time when it came up really strong. See if you can find a specific memory. It could be this moment, or it could be a memory in the past where you felt this problem, this challenge really strong. Just kind of nod when you have it, nod when you have that specific memory for me. Now I want you to enter that experience as though it's happening right now, that past experience as though it's happening right now. Don't hold back, don't push anything down, don't suppress anything. Go into it. Now is the time. See what you saw then, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, experience what you're experiencing then. And notice how this fear or anxiety or sadness, whatever it is for you, notice how it starts to appear in yourself. And then notice which part of your body do you feel it most strongly. And just answer that internally. We're going to keep it all internal in the moment. But notice which part of your body do you feel it the strongest. Is it in your chest, your gut, your back, your legs? Where is it? Your head, your neck? Notice where you feel it the strongest. And then your mind think, look at it. What shape is it? How big is it? Even give it like, how big is it in inches, in feet, diameter, height, width? How big is it? Feel, how heavy is it? If you were to give it a number in pounds in your mind, how heavy is it? What color is it? How old is it? Give it a number in months or years. Yeah. You guys are doing great. I see you guys going into it fully. Okay? Now, we're going to speak to it. And you're going to address it in your mind, and just kind of say this in your mind along with me. You know, this fear, this anxiety is an aspect. Right? And as such, it ultimately has a positive intention for you. So we're going to communicate with this aspect and discover its positive intent. So just repeat after me in your mind, aspect, I know you wish the best for me. Because you're a part of me. Thank you. Manifest yourself as freely and completely as possible so that we can communicate. And let me know when you have a compliance, a sense of openness from this aspect to communicate. Just kind of nod as you have that. You guys can keep your eyes closed throughout the process. Just kind of nod as you have that. Now, this is where just let go of analyzing, let go of thinking too much about it. I want the very first answer that comes up, I want you to ask it, what goal do you wish to achieve for me? And then out loud say the very first answer that arises. What
Safety.
Goal?
Protection.
Yeah.
Support.
Let it come. Don't hold it back. It's already there. The answer's already there. What's the first answer that came?
Understanding.
Good. Now you and your aspect come together to achieve that goal. You and your aspect come together hand in hand, and in your mind create a situation where that goal is already achieved. It's already done. Breathe into it, take your time with it, have compassion as you do it, but also have strength as you do it. This is what we're doing now. If that goal is safety, if that goal is protection, whatever that goal is for you, in your mind, see it as already done. And just nod when you're there. You've created the situation in your mind where the goal is achieved. All of what that looks like, feels like, and would be like for you. Okay, good. Stabilize and ground in that goal being achieved. You there, Gio? You there?
I think so.
Okay. Good. You can keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I might ask you guys, I'll ask you guys questions, but I'm just checking in on you. Keep your eyes closed throughout the process. Good. You guys are doing great. I feel you guys. Okay. Now, feel into your aspect again. Feel into wherever you felt it strongest in your body. Feel into it there again. And again, ask it. Say to it, now that you and I have achieved this goal, is there any goal that you have for me that's a higher or greater goal? Maybe even a more spiritual goal. And then share out loud that very first answer that comes up. What's the next highest goal that this aspect has for you?
Destruction.
Union.
Patience.
Acceptance.
Yes. You with that? Yes. Good, I feel you guys.
Ambition.
Yeah. Now again, you and your aspect come together to achieve this goal. In your mind, create the situation where that goal is already done. Where that goal is 100% achieved. And if in your mind you're thinking, how could that be 100%? Just in your mind, create a situation where that goal is 100% achieved. All of what that would look like, feel like, and be like for you. And then nod when you're there. You guys are doing great. Okay, got you. Is anybody still getting there, or are you guys all there? It's all good either way. Okay, stabilize and ground in that goal being achieved. Stabilize and ground in that goal being achieved. And then feel into your aspect again. Feel into it and ask, is there any goal that you have for me that's an even higher, greater, or even more spiritual goal? And share out loud that very first answer that comes.
Be loved.
Community.
Love.
Openness.
Good. And make sure it's higher than the last goal. We're answering the question, what goal do you have for me that's higher? There may be many parallel goals. There may be even many lower goals. But what's the goal that's even higher than the last? And again, you and your aspect come together to achieve this goal. Where in your mind you create the situation where this goal is fully realized. Fully. Don't hold back. And just nod when you're there. Gotcha. So I'm just going to mention something. Stay present where you're at. Stabilize and ground in that goal being achieved. Really stabilize and ground in it being achieved. And at some point as we go up what we call this goal chain, we're eventually going to come to where there's no more goals. So if we ask the question, what's the next highest one, and anyone gets the answer of nothing, just raise your hand. It's either going to be nothing or something. And if it's something, go with that first answer that arises. If it's nothing, say nothing and just kind of raise your hand to let me know you're there. So again, feeling into your aspect, going back to where you first gave it those characteristics, where you first said you felt it the strongest in your body. and say to it, now that you and I achieved these goals, what goal do you have for me that's an even higher, greater, or even more spiritual goal? And share the first answer that comes up out loud.
Freedom.
Enlightenment.
Be
Peacefulness.
Share it out loud when it comes. First answer. There it is. First answer is the simplest answer. Okay? You and your aspect come together to achieve this goal. Enlightenment, love, whatever it was for you, freedom. In your mind, create a situation where that goal is 100% achieved. Go there. What that would be like, feel like, look like for you. Nod when you're there. And there's no rush, by the way, no rush. Breathe into it and just nod when you're there. And if you're there, we're just waiting for all the brothers to be on the same page. If you're there, keep stabilizing and grounding into that goal being achieved. Breathe into it. Celebrate that. Celebrate that on a soul level. And asking your aspect, is there anything higher that you have for me? Asking that aspect that we started with, is there anything higher that you have for me? And just out loud share if there's something or there's nothing.
passion.
Trust.
And trust. Got it. Breathe.
Love.
And asking yourself too, is this a higher goal? Or is this part of the previous? Is it parallel to the previous? And there's no good or bad answer. It's just whatever is intuitively coming to you. And if it feels like it's part of the previous goal, then include it in the achievement of that previous goal. Let that all be included and expanded. And then asking your aspect, what is the highest goal that you have for me? And share with me that first answer that arises. Is there anything else coming, or is it just nothing?
Nothing.
It's nothing for me.
Nothing.
Personal.
Keep your eyes closed. Is there nothing higher, Mike, than where you've gone?
It just to be a king of my own, king of myself.
Good. In your mind, you and your aspect come together to achieve that goal. See that goal fully realized. You guys all stay focused. Mike, see that goal fully achieved. And then stabilizing ground in it. And for everyone who's there in that nothing, now go into that nothing that is beyond the highest goal. And give a word, give it a name, a word or two. Oneness, emptiness, peace, whatever you would call it. And then merge with that, dive into it, become one with that nothing beyond your highest goal. And then expand that nothing infinitely in all directions. Feel it expanding infinitely in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right, infinitely expanding up, infinitely expanding down. Adjust your, take care of your physical as you need to, but stay sitting upright however you can. And now I want you to just in your own mind, go back down the goal chain and see how this nothing, feel this nothing, whatever you called it, a peace, a oneness, whatever, feel this as the essence of your being. And check back in with each goal that you went through. Going back, you went up the ladder, now go step back down the ladder. And start seeing, how does this nothing, how does this change or affect my experience of those previous goals? Until you get back down to the first goal you started with, which was maybe something like safety or protection, whatever it was for you. How does your perspective now, how does it change or affect your perspective on that goal? And how does this, as the essence of your being, change or affect your experience of the original problem that we started with? How do you see it now? How do you experience it now? On a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give it now? So I want you to keep your eyes closed, and I'm going to go around and ask each one of you. Gio, how do you experience that fear now that you started with? And just give me sort of a succinct answer. How do you experience it now?
On a number scale? Or,
Sure.
Maybe more together with it than fighting against it.
Got it. Thank you. Chris, how do you experience that fear now that you started with?
For one.
Thank you. Michael, how do you experience that fear now that you or the confusion and the sadness now that you started with?
7.
So 7, still pretty strong. Okay, got it. How do you, is there any, how do you feel about it now?
I feel like I can understand it. And it's not just hurting, just the hurt.
A little more understanding? Okay, good. You guys are doing great. Fernando, how do you experience now what you started with? That confusion, that doubt.
It's like a 4 or 5.
And how do you feel about it? Is there been any shift in perspective for you?
I feel a little more at ease with it. I still feel a little bit of doubt.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Mike,
It's like a 2.
how do you experience it now when you look back at that? Is that a fear? Do we call it fear for you? Would we call it, yeah.
I'm grateful for it. It's another way of letting me know that what I'm afraid of is significant and substantive. It
Yeah.
gives me an appreciation for the thing that I fear, because it's meaningful.
Thank you. Jeremy, how do you experience now that what you started with?
It's I see through it, it's dissolved, and it's merged into the joy, the passion.
Beautiful. So what I want each of you to do, I want you to continue to keep your eyes closed as much as you can. But if sitting up is feeling like a challenge for you and it would be nice to lay back real quick, I want you all to lay down, keep your eyes closed, take a few breaths. If that would feel helpful for you. Okay? We're just going to be here for a few seconds. Stay present. Stay focused. Breathe deeply. Okay? Because we're going to keep going. I'm just giving you a chance to Take a little respite in the middle here. And I'll just talk you through. Again, stay where you're at. And Jeremy, you're in a pretty integrated place, so it's your choice if you want to go into the circular or not, or if you just want to integrate and complete for yourself, okay? But for the rest of you guys, we're going to do something interesting. And again, it's going to involve your full presence and dedication to the process. But I'm going to ask you, is there a specific person who contributes directly to this fear or this sadness or this challenge, whatever that is for you? And I'm also going to say, if no one's coming up for you, because I know what's going on for you guys, you find that person that is directly involved in the doubt, in the fear, in the sadness. And just kind of gesture at me, let me know you got that person. And there may be a few, but choose the one that has the most charge. Gio, you got that person? I see Chris and Michael. Fernando, you got that person? You already know? Yeah. Okay, good. So now I'm going to have you guys that took that little respite, you're going to sit back up, assume the position. Come back to seated with your eyes closed. You guys are doing great. I'm in no illusion that this is easy, but this is the jiu-jitsu of the mind and the emotions and the spirit. Okay, so you guys are doing good. This is your training for today. Okay, I'm going to have you take the two fingers of your dominant hand, your index finger and your pointer finger. You're going to put them together. If you want to look at me real quick, you can. Okay, you're going to take these two fingers and you're going to put them right in the center of your chest. Right in the center of your chest. Okay, you can close your eyes. And don't say anything yet, but what you're going to do is you're going to say, I am no longer, whatever your name is, I am now the name of that person that you just brought up. And you're going to embody their consciousness, and you're going to answer from their consciousness what the problem is for them in this situation. Okay? So right now, out loud, you're all going to say at the same time. You say, I am no, like for example, I would say, I am no longer Andrew, I am now Stephen. Okay, so you guys do that now. Okay, thank you all participants, partners, family members, friends of all our brothers that are here. You can relax your hand down. And as we go through this process, do your best to answer in this consciousness. Now asking this person, this significant other in your life, whatever family member it may be, whatever partner it may be, what's the problem for them with this fear, with this doubt, with this confusion, with this sadness, whatever it is? And again, let it be intuitive. The very first answers that arise. What's the problem for them? For you? What's the problem for you? And what's the goal? How would you like to feel? Again, answering from this consciousness. How would you like to feel? And now feel that problem, feel that emotion. Where is it? Feel it in your body. Where is it alive the strongest? Give it a shape, a size, a color, a weight. How old is it? Stay present. And ask it. Feel this aspect who ultimately has a positive intention for you, and ask it, what goal do you wish to achieve for me? And say the very first answer that comes up out loud. Very first answer.
Like confidence.
From the consciousness of the person embodied, what's the very first answer? It might be hard to come out, that very first answer.
Confused.
Yeah, good. You and your aspect come together to achieve that goal. In your mind, create a situation where that goal is fully achieved, fully realized, and nod when you've done that. And give it your full presence. Give me a nod when you're there. Stabilize and ground in this goal being achieved. And then again, feel into your aspect and ask, is there any goal that you have for me that's a higher, greater, or even more spiritual goal? And share that very first answer that arises. Say it out loud, the very first answer.
Trust.
Childlike.
Oneness.
You and your aspect come together to achieve this goal. What that would feel like, look like, and be like for you. Stabilize and ground in this goal being achieved. And then ask, is there any goal that you have for me that's a higher goal? Maybe something, or maybe some of you may be at nothing. If you're at nothing, the answer is nothing. Just give me a little hand raise. If there's something, then speak it out loud. All right, thank you guys. You can relax your hands. You can relax your hand. Thank you. Gio, is there anything in you that opposes this integration?
No.
Chris, is there anything in you? And you guys keep your eyes closed. Is there anything in you that opposes this integration? Yes or no?
Part of me.
What is it? What is the feeling?
I guess it's just part confusion a little bit.
A little bit of confusion. Okay. Just take note of that, okay? We'll address that. We're not going to go right back into that now because I don't want to burn you guys out.
No.
But just take note of that. Okay? It's good. Mike, is there anything in you that opposes this integration?
No.
Thank you. Jeremy, is there anything in you that opposes this integration?
No.
So I want all you guys to get your spines straight. We're almost done. Okay? You're about to get to chill, relax on the beach for a while. Get your spine straight. And envision there's a ball of divine light above your head. Whatever that looks like for you. Envision there's a ball of divine light above your head. And as you breathe, begin to draw this light down through the top of your head, down into your body, to fill every inch of your body from head to toe. See this light coming down, filling every inch, lighting up every cell of your body. And especially see this light going in and filling the area where the aspect was. Whether that was in your chest, your head, your stomach, your back, wherever it was for you. See this light, this healing light, this beautiful light filling that area where the aspect was. And then I want you to breathe and gently expand this light infinitely in every direction. See it expanding out as far as you can imagine. infinitely in front of you and behind you, infinitely left and to the right, infinitely up and infinitely down, expanding infinitely in every direction, this light. Stay with it just a little bit longer. Breathe into it. Relax into it. I want everyone to complete by taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose and a full exhale out your mouth. Breathe it deep down into your belly and full exhale out your mouth. And once you take those 3 breaths, you can open your eyes as you're ready. And think about what happened to the goal that you wanted to achieve. Jeremy, tell us what your goal was and tell us where you're at with that goal.
Passion is definitely arising naturally with the integration of the two. So it's more of a spaciousness that allows whatever wants to arise to arise. And so the passion naturally will arise just naturally.
Beautiful. On a scale from 1 to 10, what did you start with and where you're at now?
Sort of like a 4 or 5, and the resentment's definitely it's gone for sure. I blew through that, and I'm like everything now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What do you feel you can do now that you couldn't do before?
Love myself unconditionally, and see everyone, feel everyone as myself, like the heart connection. The fear of the separation is no longer, that got dissolved because I integrated everyone. I circulated everyone.
Nice.
And so that what separated us is no longer material anymore. So it's like I can feel that it allows for the love to just flow out and and back to me too.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. Anything else you want to share to be complete?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love
Cool.
you.
Love you, bro. Stoked that it flowed for you to be here. Yeah. So I'm going to go around like that and just kind of give you guys these grounding questions, okay? So, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good.
So, what are you more conscious of now, Mike?
I'm connected to it all. If that makes sense. You know, those feelings that you spend so much time fighting against. There's a freedom that comes with integrating them into myself that allows me to exist more fluidly, as opposed to the rigidity of trying to fit yourself into a space, as opposed to flowing into it and filling it. You know, where there is space, regardless of if that space, if there's a lot of room or if there's less, being able to fill it.
What can you do now that you couldn't do before?
I can just allow that to happen. Instead of forcing it, I can just allow it to be.
What's one action step that you're going to take when you get home to help yourself live this more fully?
Love unconditionally. Without condition, without reciprocation,
Yeah.
without any action needing being taken by anyone except me.
Thank
I can
you.
do that.
Thank you. Fernando, what are you more conscious of now?
I feel a little more confident. Just a little bit of doubt, but there's definitely a lot more confidence in me having the awareness and better tools to my problem, you know. I feel like I have more willpower than I show.
More willpower than what?
Just I feel like now I'm more in tune with my limits, knowing my limits. Like, just, you know, I used to think I'm an extremist, like everything has to be done to the extreme. And that's not the case today. I feel balanced in a sense.
Nice. Anything else that was good about this process for you?
Yeah, it brought the issue to the surface, and it allowed me to deal with it myself. You know, figure it out.
What do you feel you could do now that you couldn't do before?
I feel that I can listen to myself a little more and know that it's okay to say no and step away from certain situations and not have to feel. And it goes also with the protecting my energy. I don't just myself. I don't have to worry. I'm not let other people affect my decision making and the way I feel about something. Whatever they think or feel, that's on them, and I'm not gonna let that ruin what I have going on. And it's okay to be that way.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome, bro. What's one action that you're gonna take when you get home to help yourself live this more fully?
Is to baby steps. Go back home and don't just put myself into the most ridiculous situation to go test myself and be like, yeah, can you handle this? It's just like little by little, like, you know, just come back into the world and figure out where my boundaries are. Like, is this too much? Is this not too much? Do I need to come back a little bit and be able to just, maybe that was, you know, and it's okay. I don't need to just fully put myself in the most chaotic environment and just let myself feel it out. And if I feel like it's not, and listen to myself and just be like, all right, time to pull back. You're not ready for that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to do that.
Perfect, bro. Good. So that's your internal training. You go home. You got your external training. We all got that dialed in. That's your internal training.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Right on, bro.